KNUS Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't understand why this is an
agree with
issue.
that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, good Friday morning to you, 6 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Friday, September 19th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. We're going to talk missing hunters. We're going to talk the CSU rally for Charlie Kirk yesterday. Spent about an hour watching some guy named Destiny do this kind of like anti-Charlie Kirk event discussion.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And it went for 2 hours. I got about an hour into it. And that's got to be one of the least productive events I think I've ever watched in my entire life.
Oh, good.
He's like the anti-Charlie Kirk. He just sits there and shakes. He just yells and he's angry the whole time. And lots of curse words, lots of anger, I was like, just put this guy up all the time. Keep putting him up.
That's funny.
He's not winning anybody over.
Yeah, never been impressed with him. Didn't see what you were talking about there with the Charlie Kirk thing, but I've seen him before and never been impressed. It's weird. I think that I honestly believe that some of what he's doing is just completely and totally manufactured. Just because. And if it isn't, then, wow, we got to talk.
Well, I'm
people
sitting
that
there
can help
going, it really does matter what you're made up of when it comes to these public events, because you can have positions on the opposite side of Charlie Kirk, and I think argue them effectively and with like a winsomeness and interesting and all that stuff, and try to win people over. Or you can do what he did, just sit up there like Gollum and just yell at people the whole time. And I'm like, bro, he ain't winning anybody over. And it just goes to Charlie's effectiveness came so much from what he was made up of, his
there's
personality.
also just a talent to being an orator.
Yes.
And that is a skill that can be learned, but you got to put some time in. And it's not just something to sit down and tell people stuff. Yeah, which I think that's what he's doing. He's like, listen to me because who I am, kind of. That's what I think that guy's doing. And again, I think part of it is manufactured outrage, because if it isn't, someone needs to get him on some medication. That's just a personal opinion.
We had thousands of Coloradans gathering at Colorado State University to honor Charlie Kirk. We'll talk about that interesting poll from NBC about some of the differences between men and women in Gen Z. This is going to be a fascinating issue that continues to develop within this generation. I mean, they're on opposite sides of a lot of these issues. So how do you find a spouse? How do kids that are coming up in Gen Z build families with such different political beliefs? Plus, the chairman of the oh my gosh, it just fell out of my head. The FCC, chairman of the FCC, saying that The View is next.
Yeah.
I love it.
Shocking.
Donald Trump collecting scalps. Stephanopoulos, 60 Minutes, Colbert, Kimmel, The View's next. Just keep on marching.
Yeah.
Just keep on marching.
And there's an interesting irony in the group of people that were screaming and yelling about cancel culture and the government telling what outlets to do what, now celebrating scalping. It's interesting. It's interesting how shoe, different foot, different dance, and now all of a sudden, like what the band is playing. Very interesting, and a lot of thick irony.
Different institutions entirely. We'll talk why I think this is a good idea. Plus, Trevor Loudon is going to join us during the 9 o'clock hour, and we'll finish the week with some cowboy poetry. So, great show for you. Now it's time for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning, TGIF. 48 and clear in Denver, expecting a high of 79 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a vigil at CSU last night honored Charlie Kirk at Canvas Stadium in Fort Collins. At the same time, a liberal group, National Ground Game, hosted debates on campus, saying their goal was to defend free speech and condemn political violence. Students said the events underscored the nation's divisions, but also highlighted the value of open dialogue in a safe environment.
More than 10,000 people filled the stands here at Canvas Stadium, and it looks like the entire east side pretty much full of everyone from very young to very old. It wasn't just college kids here. They listened to different speakers. One of them happened to be Colorado's Heidi Ganahl, who told everyone in the crowd that it's their job now to pick up where Kirk left off, that they need to speak to kids at high schools and also the younger generations on college campuses. I'm Nia Bender.
My oldest son said Heidi Ganahl did a great job.
Oh, was he there? That's great.
Yeah, he went over there. He shocked me. He called me and told me he was over there. The other half, he didn't enjoy very much.
Oh, yeah. Did he actually go to that Destiny thing?
He heard something. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he did. He was like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
So I
mean,
didn't get. Yeah.
We can't even say the name of the organization that put it on without losing the FCC license. It's so crude and bad.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I do want people to understand this because I had a bit of a front row seat on Isabel Brown and her career the last few years. So Isabel Brown, who is well known, she's on Daily Wire, big following. Yeah. She started the Turning Point USA chapter at Colorado State University.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So she founds it, and we had her speak. I think she was the 2017 Western Conservative Summit Youth Under 30 Youth Speech Contest winner. So she spoke on our main stage, and she talked about how she had launched this organization, Turning Point USA at CSU, and how they tried to ban it. They tried to shout her down.
I remember that.
They doxed her address to try to intimidate her. Jeez. And then I'm watching her last night speak before nearly 10,000. I think it was like over 7,000 people that showed up to remember Charlie Kirk. Think about Isabel Brown, think about that journey she's been through. Starting this little club at CSU, getting all this hate, all this frustration,
no doubt.
Developing her voice, becoming a leading Gen Z, millennial, conservative influencer, now lands at the Daily Wire, speaks yesterday in front of nearly 10,000 people at the same school that tried to cancel her for even starting the club. Yeah. Man, what a journey.
Oh, that's great. And you could see the hundreds, if not thousands, of people who will step up and help this organization continue. That is a great example. You know what? Stegall talked about this early this morning about Erica and what we are learning about Erica. You probably already knew all this stuff, Jeff, but I mean, what an incredible individual, a person, and she's going to be leading, the Turning Point from here on out. But I mean, she is just phenomenal. If you go back and look at one of the interviews that Charlie had with her, his wife, Erica, and it was funny. There was a question, who's more conservative, Charlie or Erica? and he said, absolutely Erica. Erica, no doubt. I'm a moderate. Erica is a conservative. So it's amazing how God is working in this, and I think she's going to be a powerhouse as well as Miss Brown. So
I can say the exact same thing about my wife. She is just this like conservative force. I'm like, whoa, you're me. I'm like, go get him, girl.
Exactly. I love it. We're in good hands. Yeah. Colorado Congressman Jason Crow, however, he's criticizing censorship, but he says it's supported by DJT. From the floor of the U.S. House, Crow condemned 47's tactics.
Censoring media because someone dares to question or make a joke about the
Okay, so Crow he accused DJT of taking unconstitutional liberties during his second term in office.
Spare
it was
me.
all spurred on by the Kimmel story. Yeah, exactly. Spare me, clown show. ABC took Kimmel off the air because they didn't like what he said. The advertisers didn't like what he said. The people don't care about him. It's a private sector. DJT had an opinion, and he was talking smack, and it's what DJT does, and they're trying to capitalize off it.
Well, and I want to bring up this point too with Jason Crow and the Democrats here. We covered this story a few weeks ago with regards to Jared Polis telling the oil and gas industry he's going to take them all out, and then sicking the regulatory state on each of them. So it's constant violations. You violation here, violation here, here. We're going to bring out all these people to where you're drilling. And he's open about it. Jared Polis is completely open about using the government to sabotage an industry he doesn't like. And then Jason Crow goes on there and is like, don't use your government to harm an industry. Freedom of the press. Give me a break. Democrats absolutely use the government to go after their opponents all day, every day. You never hear anything about it from that side. And then, we're going to use the FCC to go after these media outlets that are not press. I keep wanting to say that they are not press. They exist to take out Republicans. That's why they are there. So the FCC raises some questions, and then all of a sudden, goodness, give me a break.
Having said that, Barry piled on.
In a post on X, former President Obama called the indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel, quote, the kind of government coercion that the First Amendment was designed to prevent. He went on to say media companies need to start standing up rather than capitulating to it. Kimmel was pulled off the air this week after saying the, quote, MAGA gang was desperately trying to characterize Charlie Kirk's assassin as anything other than one of them. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Yeah, what a joke. The kings and queens of censorship, the left, who censored internet platforms, as Jeff was talking about, controlling the mainstream media. That's what they do. They control the mainstream media, and they weaponized the IRS to go after citizens speaking out at school board and city council meetings. Remember that? During the lockouts and during Alphabet Mafia debates. Democrats, the left, it's what they do. The Supreme Court will hear arguments over DJT's tariff plan in November. The tariffs will stay in place until the court makes a decision. In southern Colorado, the bodies of Andrew Porter and Ian Stasko were found 2 miles away from the Rio de los Pinos trailhead in the Rio Grande National Forest area on Thursday. They were elk hunting and reported missing September 13th when they failed to check in with loved ones at a predetermined time. The cause of death not released.
Now, Blake, are you a hunter?
I am not. No, we used to go pheasant hunting and that type of thing, but I haven't hunted in a long time. How about you?
I'm not a hunter, but I was a mountain guide for years. What do you guys, Bill? What do you think happened to these guys? Because was the weather so bad that it could kill somebody? And
sure.
And you couldn't get out?
Yeah. I mean, depending on where you get caught or anything else, absolutely, especially falls or
like I've been in some
hypothermia
spring
and some other stuff,
gnarly
depending on where you are.
snowstorms, but it wasn't like death developing.
Yeah, that was kind of curious to me as well. I mean, I don't know what the elevation is or where they were, but it's kind of curious actually.
I mean, all you'd need, this is a river guide, Jeff. All you would need was to have your clothes get wet and then have it drop near freezing. Now you're dealing with hypothermia. And then once you lose that core temperature, you can pass overnight. And it just needs to get near enough to freezing. Doesn't have to get below.
Yeah,
but it just needs to pull the core temperature. Once you can't keep, basically the core is just basically, as you know, it's your chest. And once you start losing body temperature out of there, again, you'll get frostbite and hypothermia and some other things there first. But once you pull that core temperature, there can be some real serious things. And once you get into an issue where you're cold and possibly, lost or disoriented for whatever reason, you can make some dumb decisions. And I would not, again, we haven't heard it so far, but I'm still not discounting something as far as a fall or getting lost or something else. They're just, they don't, I'm hesitant to say there's anything nefarious going on because one, didn't bring their firearms, and it's incredibly difficult if you're doing something like a murder-suicide or they get into some sort of fight or something. It's a bow and arrow, etc., and we haven't heard anything about things like that.
Any foul play.
So the idea for me is, something had to have gone on, and the other one may be, we haven't heard it so far, is what if, and again, completely and totally hypothetical, if one of them does take a tumble, a fall, and they're trying to get out together. The idea of not leaving the guy behind that then has a problem walking or navigating for whatever reason. So, there could be some things there. The other one could be that someone, and you can have this, where they're having some sort of a crisis and they're in the woods. The idea that something has happened. And Adam and I were talking about, do you think they did drugs or something like that up there when they were partying? I'm like, probably not, because doing drugs, especially hallucinogenics in the woods, very bad idea.
Yeah, that sounds like
a bad idea. Yeah,
terrible recipe.
But the idea that maybe someone, and I don't know their health issues. If one of them has somewhat of a blood sugar issue, then easily they could become disoriented and have to get them out. So I don't know. I'm not sure the other things that happened inside of here, but it's really, really scary because they seem to know what they were doing. They know they went back to the car at least one point around September 11th to change out from wet clothes. So we know that was already something they had dealt with, and that's why I'm leaning towards the idea of wet, hypothermia, temperature, only because of what we have seen previously. That's the only reason I'm going that direction as far as a hypothetical. But what do you guys think?
Boy, you covered almost everything. It truly is a mystery. I mean, when you look at it. But I think when it comes down to it, I think you bring up a good point about the clothes getting wet. And then kind of everything kind of snowballs from there. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm looking at pictures of where they were parking to at least do the search and rescue. And there's not any snow on the ground. So I don't know how cold it got. The reason I pause on this is because they're 25 years old. So they're basically like prime strength and endurance and ability, and so to not be able to get back to the car, not be able to get home and have some if you're truly helpless dealing with some issues, not being able to yell for help, run into somebody, get back to the car when they had been to the car already, that's why I've got lots of red flags here. So wow,
I agree.
Be careful out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. All right, the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-21, and if Miami doesn't pull a miracle soon, that may be it for head coach Mike McDaniel, the pride of Smoky Hill High School, and grew up in Greeley and has an unbelievable story that I was a part of about 20 years ago. So we'll keep an eye. Hopefully he keeps his job, but I don't know. It doesn't look good in South Florida. And Billy, I didn't get to see your soccer match. I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't after all that promise and everything.
I know. I totally forgot about it. What happened?
Well, thanks for remembering. I appreciate that, my friend. I really do. We lost, and it was tough. I was Jeff heard me crying and whining about it earlier before the show, and I admit I am crying. I'm being a little whiner baby about this one. It was a tough one. Now, okay, for the audience, my English Premier League team, Newcastle United, is facing off in the Champions League, which is like a huge, major tournament. This is like the big deal for club soccer every year. And this is competing to something that is a level, honestly, in soccer, a little bit above the Super Bowl kind of an idea, because you're competing against teams from other leagues. The Spanish Giants, Barcelona, comes into St. James's Park in Newcastle, England. And Barcelona is a stacked team. Luckily, their winger, Lamine Yamal, has a muscle issue and isn't playing. So they start a want-away striker from Manchester United, Marcus Rashford, who's there on loan. And that bastard puts 2 goals on us. So pissed. So pissed.
No.
The fact that the dude from United...
2?
Yes, 2. And the thing is, one's good. One's a nice header. Basically, he gets lost in the box. Fabian Schär, our center back, loses him, doesn't track with him. He sits deeper in the box, and Schär, more to the top, I'm sorry, he's sitting more towards the top of the box, and Schär stays deeper, giving Rashford, it's an easy thing. When you're a Premier League striker and you are allowed to head the ball with nobody around you in the box, normally you do a pretty good job. And that's what he did. So there wasn't any pressure on him, so he scored. That was a mistake. Second half, he ripped off an incredible shot. You could see him building for it, because I've watched Rashford play since he was a kid, and I can see him building for it and setting it up and setting it up. And then when he unleashed it, sometimes you're just like, yeah, nothing can do. There's nothing. I mean, our goalkeeper, Nick Pope, was at full stretch, went for it, and there was nothing he could do. It was that damn good.
Wow.
So yeah, and
beautiful shot.
Yeah, it was really hard to see him, because I've seen him run around like a chicken with his head cut off, and I've seen him play lazy player at Manchester United for the last 3 seasons. Seen him not track back, not play defense, and I'm thinking, okay, got a chance here, and dude decides he's gonna play. Just piss me off.
Of course,
I'm like,
against your team.
Exactly. I'm just, but I didn't think that we were going to beat Barcelona anyway. We looked good. Well, we were able to scratch a goal late in the game. I mean, literally dying seconds of the game. So it ended up 2-1. That helps us as far as points.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing that was really hard is our star striker, Alexander Isak, threw a temper tantrum over the summer and went to Liverpool, and I hate him because of it right now. So our striker system is a problem, and we have 3 golden chances in the first 20 minutes to put Barcelona on their heels and to get 1 goal, and we miss them because the guys playing there aren't strikers. They're wingers, and it's a different approach, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating to see, but we brought on our big new German guy, Nick Voltemata, last 30 minutes of the game.
How did Nick look?
He looked good. In fact, he did really well in order to help set up the goal. He's a nice facilitator, and he creates some problems. He's not in the rhythm of the team yet, but yeah, we were going to lose to Barcelona, and we put up a valiant fight, but damn Marcus Rashford.
What's next?
Oh, we're playing this weekend. So, yeah, so it'll be back to the English League this weekend. It'll be a decent shot. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, and now it'll be it'll be another week or so, and then we go back in and play the next round. So it's okay. Yeah, it's a tough one, but damn it, Marcus, of all the people, on Barcelona, it has to be Rashford. It has to be Rashford. Ah, damn it.
He was so lazy until he met you guys.
Yes, that was the thing.
That's not fair.
It's almost like
he knew you were watching.
Yeah, it's like if let's just say that one of the Broncos goes and plays for another team and shows up in Denver and then just plays lights out, and you're like, the hell was that?
Like, where was this guy?
Where the hell were you when we were paying you? How come you couldn't be bothered when we were paying you? And that's what I felt when Manchester United was just feeding him hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. He couldn't be bothered to play defense, and now he's on loan at Barcelona, and all of a sudden, I got to play defense. I got to learn hard. Damn it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, good luck this weekend.
I'm going to go I'm going to help my coffee, maybe help me dry my tears. It sucked. But thank you for asking.
40 you bet. 47 in Brighton, 46 in Lone Tree, 48 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. It is Friday. Thank you, Lord. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Very pleasant September weather for Denver in the Front Range today, tomorrow, and as we head on into the weekend. Temperatures will be 70s today and sunny, 75 to 80 and sunny on Friday. Will be around the lower to mid-80s for the weekend. The weekend might bring 1 or 2 isolated thunderstorms. Weather's a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
So yesterday was this interesting day up at Colorado State University where they have the Charlie Kirk Memorial, 7,000 plus people attend that, honor Charlie Kirk, remember the work of Turning Point. And then they do this like political gathering put on by, I can't even say the name of the organization without getting in trouble, but they want to continue the kind of debate, but they do it from a progressive side. And they featured this guy named Destiny, whose real name is Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II. And I'm following the Coloradan, and I went to go watch, and it just ended up in this bizarre shouting match. I mean, the Coloradan even describes it as shouting match continues its CSU political review event with moments of calm. 100 people at one point had left because they were just tired of dealing with how rough it had gotten. Here's what the Coloradan said with regards to the event. Finally, at the end, Destiny was able to complete a full response to the question that he was asked most often. That was about comments he had made on Piers Morgan's podcast following the shooting of Charlie Kirk about the need for conservatives to be fearful when they attend political rallies and events. That response drew widespread criticism from people across the country, including Elon Musk, who suggested Destiny should be imprisoned in Trump's oldest son, Donald Trump Jr. Destiny provided a full answer without being shouted down about 75 minutes into the 90-minute event. Could you imagine that? 75 minutes. And I watched the beginning of it, and this guy's sitting up there and he's shaking, and he just seems miserable. He doesn't seem like somebody that really enjoys the conversation, going back and forth, anything like that. He's just kind of angry that he doesn't even seem to want to be there. 75 minutes into a 90-minute event, he finally gets a question in when asked by a woman who said she was a 21-year-old student about political violence and how you respond to it. About half of the 450 people or so who were on hand when the debate began had already left. 75 minutes into it, so you're down to a few hundred people. When I saw Charlie Kirk get shot, that was an incredibly horrifying event, Destiny said, referring to Kirk as a colleague. I think that's a stretch. When I see a leader go on stage and stoke the flames, it makes me feel like the other side is not taking the violence seriously, like it's just a joke or a game. And the statement that I made, if you watch the full statement, I said this exactly, that people need to be afraid of the possibility of us going to civil war. And right now, I feel like conservatives just have no fear of political violence because, again, more people are interested in shouting at me to disavow whatever shooter and have no interest in telling Donald Trump to issue a statement saying all of us need to calm down. He went on to suggest that he would be equally critical if Joe Biden were president and a similar shooting took place. And the president's response was to blame, quote, these radical MAGAs out there stirring up trouble, unquote. Political violence, he said repeatedly, is wrong, period. It's not fun. It's not romantic. It's not sexy like it is in the movies, Destiny said. And I feel just like that fear doesn't exist at all on the right now. Well, I can tell you it definitely does. I'm not saying that people need to kill on the right or you need to go and commit violence or threaten. I'm saying that all of us need to have a healthy fear of what a violent political future looks like. And then the event ended. So 90 minutes with Destiny up there. Oh, not quite, I think, what they were intending and hoping it would be. So you have 7,000 plus people gathering to honor and remember Charlie Kirk, about 450 people at this political event featuring Destiny. Only about half stick around, and it's 75 minutes of shouting. So Not easy to put those things on.
No, it's not.
Apparently, yeah, it takes something unique. Not just throwing a figure up there and having a political debate. More often than not, will probably spiral into that.
Do we know if they had this set up before or after Kirk's passing? I'm not sure, because I know that the event that Kirk was going to be at CSU, it was supposed to be a second stop in the tour. I think it was, or third,
I wonder
somewhere
if
in
this
there.
was going to be a counter event to that.
Because one of my kids, a CSU student, and that was talked about. That was, just the stuff going around on campus, the information that they get, that there was supposed to be some sort of a counter event that was happening, because, you get all the student notices and things like that during the Kirk thing. But I hadn't seen any details about it, nor had they, other than the fact that, and this was just after, maybe a week or so after the Kirk event was announced, that there was going to be another event going on campus at another location. And I think at that time, my reading of the notice seemed to be more about giving a place for those people that might show up and just yell and protest at Charlie, another place to go stand around with each other and tell them that they're right and they can yell and protest there. I had a feeling that it felt, I'd hate to say a distraction, but I want to say a diversion is how it looked at to me, that they were trying to offer something else to the people that probably would show up and try to disrupt things at the Kirk event, was how I looked at it. Yeah, that's what I looked at it as.
I watched about an hour of it, and what just stood out to me was you can't just put these events on. You can't just throw somebody up there and say, hey, let's debate politics, because oftentimes it will devolve into what this show sometimes becomes.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to know how to navigate
that.
There's
a lot of passion, and sometimes some naughty words.
Oh, absolutely.
But you look at what Charlie was able to do, and you go, that was something unique. He had the recipe. He was a happy warrior. He didn't shout down and engage in a back and forth, that it was actually interesting conversation. So, yeah, interesting evening at CSU. If you were up there, if you watched it, if you went and saw Heidi Ganal speak, or Isabel Brown, or anybody else, would love to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Speaking of Dan Caplis, I've known Dan for well over a decade. He's pro-life, pro-family, pro-faith, and pro-America. He's right there with us on the values, and that matters, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case is going to say a lot about you to everybody involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
after going missing. What do you think happened to them? We're also talking about the event that took place up at Colorado State University last night. 7,000 people gathering in a way to honor Charlie Kirk. And then the political union, the CSU Political Review, put on an event with this guy named Destiny. I watched about an hour of the 90 minutes event and a lot of shouting. Destiny did not come across as likable, as reasonable. It came across as angry. And it goes to show, in my opinion, you can't just... political debates and discussion require the right type of ingredients, and he did not have it. And even the Coloradan going, Destiny saying everybody should be fearful with regards to the political future. And it was just full of debates, shouting matches, and didn't come across that well. So let's go to the phone lines. Marcus Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, guys. No, I was always fascinated with what I learned about Charlie Kirk's wife. Just blew me away. She played basketball. She got a master's. She got a PhD. She was a CEO in a small company. And then she got into real estate. And she was also an Arizona beauty queen. It's like, that blows me away. So it says, behind every good man, there's a good woman.
Amen. That's right. They were a great partnership. So it sounds like this gives you a lot of optimism for the future of Turning Point.
Well, yeah, but it's just amazing. So the more you learn about the guy and his wife, it's just fascinating. So and people can learn from it.
Yeah, Erica Kirk being named the new CEO, chairwoman of the board of Turning Point USA. So she definitely understood Charlie's vision, what he was trying to build. And you're right, I didn't know she had gotten a doctorate in Christian leadership.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And she a PhD. And what amazes me, and she's been a CEO before.
Correct, of a clothing line, at least I know of that. And
And
so, an effort to bring the Bible to be read in a year called Bible in 365. Yeah.
Now, Marcus, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I think based on what we know about Erica Kirk, so far, again, I don't know her at all, but based on what we've seen, I'm comfortable with her taking over the leadership role as far as Turning Point USA, but I am worried about their, I don't want to say figurehead, but their persona. Charlie was so important and so dominant in the persona and the outreach of Turning Point. Is there going to be someone else that might be able to pick that up? And for radio, where I'm leaning on this is the loss of Rush Limbaugh. They didn't replace Rush with one dude. They replaced him with two dudes, and the show's not even close to being as culturally relevant as it was. And when you have someone that is that type of a thought and speech leader, it becomes very difficult in any sort of an organization to replace someone that is that good. In your mind, Marcus, how difficult is it going to be for Turning Point to create or find a person that can be such an effective communicator and messenger as Charlie Kirk is? Do you think they've got it? They can find someone.
Well, I don't want to sound like a sexist or anything, but in Christian religion and everything, they always look towards a man. And I don't see anybody right now because I don't know who's going to come to the plate, Billy.
See, that's the thing that's what I'm worried about with Turning Point. I think that Erica Kirk, based on what we know, can navigate things behind the scenes. But if you're a fan of Turning Point, the idea to not have that persona out front, because Charlie was such an effective communicator. Story goes that, he's 18, 19, and he is so effective at communicating. That's when some very, very wealthy Republican donors see what he has the ability to do and kind of say, maybe college isn't the right thing. Let's go this way. And they start backing some of the early stages in Turning Point because they saw how good of a communicator he was. And I'm sorry, those type of people, they're not a dime a dozen.
They come along once in a lifetime.
And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about that the momentum with Turning Point can be lost without having that communicator, someone that has the ability that Charlie did to confront those people with different ideas and do it with grace and style.
See, and then you're starting to see it right now. And like you said, when Rush was gone, those ratings dropped down. You could put two guys in there, but they look at that individual.
Yeah.
And it's like you and Jeff there. It's like if one's missing, it wouldn't be the same. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
And because you get used, see what I'm saying, to listening to the same guy, because you're on the same page. You might hate each other now and then, but what the hell?
Yeah, and as Jeff outlined that he saw with the guy Destiny up at CSU, doing what Charlie did in that format with that audience is hard. It is not something that is easy to do because, as Jeff outlined, so often devolves into screaming and yelling at each other, and that's not what Charlie did.
I'll tell you what I think was the foundational difference was a genuine love for the people you're communicating with.
That's insightful.
That did not come across with Destiny. He seemed more annoyed that he had to deal with you than Charlie, who I think really loved to connect with people. But Marcus Aurora, sure appreciate the call. Thanks so much. We'll continue. We got the Friday edition of You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We know you all look forward to this, the Friday edition of Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News.
Yes, it is that time of the week where we get those stories that we, glossed over a second shot at glory. It's a loser edition.
You are one pathetic loser.
Loser!
Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
It's a losers club. Bunch of losers.
You're such a loser.
You made me feel like a loser!
She's a loser.
You are such a loser.
Loser.
Yes, it's You Choose the News Loser Edition. That means we've finally made it to Friday. Oh, celebrations, but it's still too early to start drinking. Yes. So here we go. We're going to do the next best thing. We're going to bring back those stories that Jeff and Blake passed over earlier in the week, feeling they weren't worthy of our attention, and they get a second shot at glory. Let's see who our winners are this time. You know how this works. You choose the news, silly stories found on interwebs. I give them more ridiculous headlines, and we're doing this because nobody in charge is paying attention at 6:50 in the morning on 710 KNUS. We found out their snooze alarm doesn't go off until just about 58 after the hour, so we're going to take full advantage of being left unsupervised. Here we go. Blake Olson joining us from the news department. Jeff Hunt in the studio. Gentlemen, our returning headlines are as follows. Headline number 1, predicting the future. Headline number 2, being trendy. Headline number 3, say my name. And headline number 4, membership has its privileges. Mr. Hunt.
Let's start with predicting the future, please.
Yes, we are predicting the future, and we find ourselves predicting such future in China. Yes, some excitement lately in China. They're getting ready for an air show starting in northeast China this weekend. Now, while doing the preparations, they actually were taking a peek into how transportation could happen, maybe just years, decades in the future. Flying cars. Yes. One company is going to debut their flying cars at this air show.
Yeah.
Xpeng Aero HT. They were testing their flying cars, and they crashed into each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
One pilot suffered some serious injuries. Yeah. Now, again, this is 2 flying cars. Just for the conversation here. They are the only flying cars in the air. In the area at that time. And they managed to hit each other. Yes.
Is it a car crash or a drone crash?
I don't...
Because they look like drones.
Yeah,
I'm looking
do.
at the images of
Yeah.
them.
Now, here's the thing. The idea being, let's say that you have 2 cars in a large, expensive parking lot, and they manage to smash into each other. Good job, guys. So again, the flying cars, not a solution. I know that we're all like, hey, Jetsons. No. Flying cars, not a solution.
My scores have gone.
Yes. Also.
Well, and then they ended up on fire
Yes,
after
on
they
fire.
crashed into
Yes.
each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Burst into flames, things like that. Lots of fun. Now, in case you want to be on that front edge of stuff, they're talking about selling them eventually for about $300,000. You know, just so everybody can afford them. But yeah, that's what you're looking at as far as price point.
Here you go, Billy.
Yeah. Yes, Jetsons. Oh, flying cars.
Just
Also,
flying cars.
The other thing about Jetsons, 4-day work week. Jeez, think about that. Okay.
Did you see Jared Pullis get in the Waymo? Could you imagine him getting in one of these and flying away?
Oh my God! Here's a weird math.
Yes,
thing.
I can't imagine that.
Now we talk about the idea of traveling. That once we get into the air. Okay, we're gonna do a little math here, just for fun. Okay, kids. So just imagine that we're back in kind of maybe a high school math class. That we talk about, hey, flying cars is gonna be great because now we can travel in 3 dimensions, going all over the place and fly all over. And no, that's not really how it works. You're still gonna have lanes up there when it happens. And we already are traveling in those 3 dimensions. If you've ever traveled over a bridge or a viaduct, that's it.
An overpass.
Yeah, an overpass does the same thing. So, yeah, it's not. It just means we are going to be sitting in traffic jams in the sky. At least we'll have a better view. That's
Will
it.
we hit drug addicts up there? That's what I want to know.
Oh, that's it. The homeless. Homeless, yeah. Well, once we have the jetpacks, then the homeless are going to be able to, get those squeegee guys flying around. And they're going to squeegee all over the place.
Turbulence,
yes,
right?
exactly. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay, now we got to go on here. Blake Olson, second choice, sir. Being trendy, say my name, or membership has its privileges.
Say my name, say my name.
Yeah, say my name, Destiny's Child. All right, nicely done with the song there. Shout out to you.
What can I say?
Now, a woman has been shocked that her customized vanity license plate has been stricken by the California Department of Motor Vehicles. They've told her they are revoking her personalized license plate. She's had it since 2022. She paid the extra fee. She's been paying the renewal fee each and every year, never been late. But now, those free speech-hating monsters in California's Department of Motor Vehicles tell her you cannot have this vanity plate. What is the offensive line that exists on her car? It reads, "I am ISIS." Well, the issue is that's her first name. Isis Wharton has been dealing with this name her entire life, and she's very proud of it. Yes, Isis Wharton, yes. She's named after the Egyptian god Isis. She says she was surprised and hurt by the letter. She goes, "I'm very proud of my name. My mom named me after the Egyptian goddess.
Yeah.
I've been told to be proud of it my entire life. I'm not the Islamic State of Iraq or Syria or anything else. This is silly.
Jeez.
I'm not saying that. I'm just using my name. How come my name's not any good?" Well, in California, no, not any good. Can't do it.
Wow.
I know.
I'm actually surprised they didn't give her an award in California.
I'm just wondering, maybe she can change her name to Big Balls. Let's see what happens. Just, let's test the theory here.
Let's try it.
Yes. Okay. Now, Jeff, final choice this morning, being trendy or membership has its privileges?
Being trendy, please.
Oh, you stepped in the landmine. Alrighty. Now, earlier this week, we had a theme that was going on before the computers smartly took us off the air. Probably because they knew what we were going to do. There was going to be an entire theme to the morning because, when I have a creative challenge, I rise to the occasion, and I found a theme throughout the entire set of You Choose the News stories. This is one of them. In Ozarks, an email was sent out to student and families of Ozark High School that outlines the temporary closure of a few of the male bathrooms due to a viral trend. Yes, just this past weekend, they were notified the male bathrooms were going to be closed because the boys have been doing an internet trend that's a little disgusting. Basically, peeing wherever you want to. Yes, there is a trend on the TikToks and the other social medias with people just whipping it out and just casting a stream wherever. Well, obviously, high school boys known to make wonderful, mature decisions decided to pee all over the place in the bathrooms. So, yeah, now no bathrooms for you guys. Good job.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Gotta hold it now.
Doing the potty dance.
Are
All
they
right.
from Portland?
No. All right. Okay, that's the end of You Choose the News. Back to you, sir.
All right, you're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader. We are News Talk 710 KNUS. I think it's time for a bathroom break.